Today's presentation is going to be on annotating. This is specifically referring to our close reading assignment, but this tool can be used to understand any text that you read, fiction or nonfiction. We're learning this to help you become a better reader and analyzer of information. This will help you look at a text that looks difficult, that looks complex, and really learn how to break it down, identify the main ideas and the important pieces of information, and also understand how the author has developed this information and is presenting to you in the manner in which they're presenting it to you. It is also going to encourage you to identify citable pieces of information that you can bring up, say in an analysis paper or in, even a debate or a back and forth conversation you might be having online. Speaking of online, one of the things that is a real big struggle nowadays is really being able to identify if something that I'm reading that I found online is reliable, if information that someone is telling me is even accurate. So when we work through the process of annotations, we are able to identify cues that will lead us to know whether or not a source is reliable or is not reliable or is fake news. And that will allow us to teach that information that is reliable to others, become more of an independent thinker, or even somebody who other people look to for reliable information. We'll be able to connect ideas from a new piece of information to another topic we already understand. And probably the best thing is, those people we see online who are like, this isn't, you'll be able to respond to them with clear information that's research-based. You can cite, you can link other sources, and other people will recognize very, very quickly that you are the person who has the correct information. You are a rational thinker, and it won't really allow those trolls to kind of take over the conversation. Annotation specifically is the actual physical or digital writing of notes on a piece of text, okay? Think of it really as a convenient way to record your thoughts in a physical manner, to kind of summarize the article in different pieces and to really think through it. This will allow you to have a deeper initial reading, as well as make more meaningful connections and build understandings that will last longer than, say, just a simple read. And it will provide you with the evidence that you need to support any other future thoughts or comments that you might have on the topic. I've talked to the fact that we can do digital annotations or physical annotations. If you're choosing digital annotations, which I strongly encourage, you'll be using your school-issued laptop, and the teacher-made application will be embedded directly into Canvas. The only optional tool you might want to have is a stylus, if that's how you like to write on your touchscreen monitor. That is up to you. I have included a student tutorial on the different teacher-made tools. We will go over that during our live class. You're welcome to look at that on your own though as well. If you do choose to do physical annotations, everything will be posted on Canvas and on Google Drive. If you don't have already a physical copy of the article that you might have picked up in your opening packet, then you might need to print it, and for future things you might need to print them. You might need a highlighter, colored pencils, or different colored pens. You're definitely going to need some sort of scanner or camera so that you can take a picture of your work and then upload it onto the Canvas assignment. Optional items might be, say, like Post-it notes. Some people like to use sticky notes instead of writing right on a paper, and that's fine, whatever you choose. Again, I want to encourage the digital annotations, but physical annotations are an option, and we're going to look at both examples today, as well as in our live class. So a physical example like this, you're going to see specific things on the left and the right. That's not really going to change, but it's definitely more clear on the physical one when you're handwriting, because you can squeeze things in the margins and things like that. You'll notice that there's different color pens, there's some pencil, circles, lines, and arrows. All of that's not really any different than you're going to see on the digital. You'll notice there's vocabulary. Then, of course, at the bottom of the article, they have, summarized the author's purpose, and they've talked about like why the author really wrote this. You'll also notice that the paragraphs are enumerated. Again, you have a physical copy. You might have to do that on your own. If you're using my digital copy or a printout of my digital copy, then you'll already have those numbered. That was just something I did for your convenience. A digital example, again, looks very, very similar. This is a different article, but nevertheless, we're still identifying vocabulary words, we're circling main ideas, we're asking questions. Certain things are trying to lean towards the right, certain things are leaning towards the left. We still have at the bottom of the page, because it'll be built into the teacher-made assignment, is that one sentence explaining the author's purpose. Okay, so you'll notice also on this one that there is color coding. So reflections are, in this one, are orange, main ideas are green. That's totally up to you. I think vocabulary was blue. I like to use color coding because it helps things really pop. There's no specific color code you have to use. As long as you're consistent, it will be obvious. We will be doing the practice of this in our live class, but I'm just going to briefly go over the 3 steps for annotation. Before you read, you're going to be given a list of vocabulary words that you need to review before you even start reading. So that will already be done. But the very first thing you should do, obviously, is number the paragraphs if you don't have a copy that is already numbered. The second thing will be during the first read. So while you are reading, you're going to circle any additional unknown words, define them. That'll go to the left. You're going to comment and decide, okay, I've read this paragraph or these 3 paragraphs, and this is their main idea. Main ideas will go to the left. Then you're going to write any questions or connections that you might have to the right. If you're doing this digitally, I do encourage you to use color coding. If you're doing this handwritten, again, color code, maybe use one color pen, a different color pencil, something like that. We're going to practice each of these different things, identifying vocab, paraphrasing the main idea, and coming up with some comments, questions, or connections when we have our live class. But for right now, I'll just jump to step 3. In step 3, it's after we've read the whole thing, we kind of think about it and we answer this question. Why did the author write this article? What is the author's purpose? We're going to think of things like, is it persuade? Is it to inform? Is it to entertain? And kind of really explain that. I do have some examples here, and we will practice this in our live class. So we'll look at that a little more closely when we are together. Just a final reminder that you do have the option of doing either digital or physical annotations, but I want to strongly encourage you to do the digital annotations since you are an online student and many of your teachers are going to be using applications like TeacherMade or even Kami, which is another PDF editor application. And it just, though there's some steps to, working through the process of editing a PDF, you don't have that extra step of taking a picture and then uploading. When you use, the TeacherMade or the Kami, it's already embedded directly into our digital programming. So it's really the most ideal format to use. Become more comfortable with these digital tools, and eventually they will become secondhand. Of course, if physical annotations is something you're more comfortable with, that is always an option. Just know you need to make sure you have all the tools available that are necessary to complete the assignment on time. Okay, if you have any questions, we'll review them during our live session.